Yes po.
Okay po. Kasi, are you ready for, ano na ba? Are you ready to join the pair deck? Baka putol. Please log in to join that PD. Hold on. Okay, so please log in, join pd.com rather, and key in KFYIEE. Can I type that? Hold on. Uh-huh. Join pd.com. Enter KFY space I. KFY space. All small letters po. Can you try po? Are you joining already? Okay. So that you can participate in this morning's lecture. Kaya lang student base. Well, wait I'll try the another. Sige. Okay, so good morning again. As mentioned by Dr. Lopez, this has been the supposedly lecture during the typhoon. Unfortunately, we were rescheduled, no, supposedly 3 times this week, but lucky that we have a free time this morning. Okay, so before we start the lecture, may I know, so how are you today? May I hear from 20 students are responding? So not everyone is logged in, no? 216 are only logged in to joinpd.com. We are 300 plus in this Zoom meeting. 371. So let's see. So majority are in the green circle, meaning okay. Merong mga outliers lang. Hindi ko alam saan papunta yung iba. Pero may some na nandoon sa ano, thumbs down, no? So hopefully at the end of this lecture, better na yung feeling ng everyone. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for those who responded. So may I know if you watched the asynchronous video on childhood immunization? Oh, so merong few pa rin na hindi pa nakapanood, ano? Bakit kaya? Matagal na bakasyon, hindi pa rin nakapanood? So I hope that you will still find time to watch the asynchronous video kasi all your consultants or lecturers have put time in preparing for this video, especially ito I can vouch you na this is the latest, no, video. So I hope you find time then. Kasi if you start early on in the semester that you haven't watching the asynchronous videos given to you, sayang kasi early pa lang ng school year. So I hope the students who um, have not watched the video will find time, especially this week that we don't have preceptorial meeting. Okay, so meron kayong ISP time or time to interview. So I hope you find time to watch the asynchronous video. So how were you able to answer the test online on Canvas if you haven't watched the asynchronous? So siguro ano ba to? Siguro nanghula na yung iba. Okay, so gladly kasi out of 441 students, there were 422 who took the test on childhood immunization on Canvas. And the highest is 10, the lowest is 6. So I'm glad naman. So at least, no, pero syempre, iba pa rin kapag na panood nyo if we were able to watch the asynchronous video. So may mga umaandar pa. Okay, na dots. All right. Okay. So let me share with you this very nice video, short video clip on how vaccines are effective. Okay. I'll share with you this one. So please tell me if you don't hear the sound.
There are at least 4 to 5.
Meron? May audio ba?
Yes po, Doc.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll repeat again.
There are at least 4 to 5 million lives that are saved as a result of being vaccinated year in and year out. Immunization is one of the most effective, most impactful health interventions in all of human history. And I'd love to tell you why that is and about it.
Doc, sorry po. The audio is no longer heard po.
Sorry, what happened?
He didn't get sick from smallpox. And smallpox doesn't have anymore
Nawala yung
anywhere
audio
in the
ba?
world. And the reason we don't have this disease
Dok,
is
kapag
because
nag-mute po kayo, nawawala po yung audio.
Okay, I'll repeat again. Sorry for that. Sorry.
another disease that's really front and center,
Sorry.
big spotlight on trying to eradicate this disease, meaning there are at least 4 to 5 million lives that are saved as a result of being vaccinated year in and year out. Immunization is one of the most effective, most impactful health interventions in all of human history. And I'd love to tell you why that is and about it. Tens of millions of people, in fact, over the course of human history, hundreds of millions of people died from smallpox. It was a dreaded disease. And in the late 1700s was an amazing breakthrough. A British physician, Jenner, noticed that milkmaids who had been infected not from smallpox, but from a related virus called cowpox, they were pretty immune from getting smallpox. And so he used that observation to, in fact, immunize an 8-year-old boy, James Phipps, using the cowpox virus. And then weeks later, he exposed James Phipps, with, of course, the permission of his parents, to smallpox, and he didn't get sick from smallpox. And smallpox is a disease we don't have anymore anywhere in the world. And the reason we don't have this disease is because of vaccination. Another disease that's really front and center, big spotlight on trying to eradicate this disease, meaning wipe it off the face of the earth once and for all, just as we've done for smallpox, is polio. I think everybody knows what polio looks like: paralysis of limbs, long life, disability. Many people die of polio as well. And this means vaccinating, for instance, in Pakistan, in India, in many other countries, huge campaigns that have vaccinated tens of millions of children in short periods of time. We're now at the point where polio has been reduced by over 99% compared with the way polio used to be before we had vaccines. We're so close to ending this. We're so close to the last few cases. We're so close to ending the transmission of this virus. I worked in a hospital in the country of Haiti, in the capital city, in Port-au-Prince. The pediatric ward in that hospital was full of children who had measles, who had diarrhea, who had meningitis, children who had tuberculosis, children who were born with tetanus. And about a third of children who were admitted to that pediatric ward died on a daily basis. And so many of the illnesses that children came in with were illnesses that were completely preventable with vaccination. It was a really important period for me in my training, in my life, to decide to really devote my career to making sure that vaccines were not only developed for diseases for which we didn't have them yet, but also, perhaps more importantly, that the vaccines that we already have are completely accessible, completely available, completely safe and effective for people in every part of the world, no matter what community you're born in. So we've all been living through what has been an enormously difficult couple of years, this pandemic, COVID-19. Over, I think everybody knows, is the incredible development in rapid time, in frankly unprecedented time, of vaccines that prevent COVID disease. They work against infection and transmission as well. One of the ways that vaccines have gotten into every country around the world is through the COVAX facility. And the COVAX facility is the mechanism to buy vaccines, which is happening on a billions of dose basis, and get them shipped to countries that need these vaccines that can't buy them on their own. There are 92 countries that are benefiting. And when we think about low-income countries, over 80% of the doses that are provided to low-income countries are coming through the COVAX facility. We vaccinate against diseases that are transmissible from person to person. And that means that each of us presents some risk to someone else unless we're protecting ourselves through the use of vaccines. So I really think about vaccination as a social equity issue and a social justice issue. And there's nothing more overwhelming, there's nothing more tragic than a perfectly healthy child who succumbs to an infection that was completely preventable.
Okay, so a very nice video on how vaccines are effective, no? So that's the history of immunization. So this was prepared, no, or this was shown during the time of the pandemic. Okay, so you see how the evolution of the vaccine happened, right? Okay, ano kaya nangyari ulit? Parang nawala ata tayo. Sandali, ito pala. I'll transfer. Same pa din. Alright, so moving on. you learned in the lecture, those who have watched the video, that the fast facts on global immunization, there was the latest release in July 15, 2025. I just want to show how important it is, the amount spent on each, no, immunization. It saves $52 in low and middle income countries. Ever since, no, the WHO is working with countries and partners to improve global vaccination coverage. And over the years, vaccines have prevented countless cases and of disease and saved millions of lives. So as of the latest, no, yung that was shown to you in the video last year, they really tackled on how much is spent on immunization. Okay, so you see here in this slide that that's only $18, no, per child to fully immunize a child in low income countries. Okay, so magkano lang ba yung $52, no? That's about 1,000 pesos, no? So sadly, that not all countries have the funds to procure or to serve their the population to be given, no, to be vaccinated. That's why the CDC works with the US and global partners to find and vaccinate children and others missed by vaccination program. Okay. So this is the one that I was mentioning, that the latest key facts on immunization coverage, no? This was just released a week after or a week prior to supposedly lecture to be conducted during the typhoon. That globally in 2024, there were 14.3 million children missing out on any vaccination. This is the so-called zero-dose children, meaning those children with no vaccination at all. And a coverage of a third dose vaccine protecting against diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, meaning 3 doses have already received, no, was 85% in 2024. So roughly on the 80% naman na. The proportion of children receiving the first dose of measles was 84% in 2024, but not as high or greater than the 2019, no, because it was at 86% back then. That was prior to the pandemic. Pero still at least, no, improving over the years. As mentioned by Dr. Lopez, that ever since, no, I've been giving the lecture on childhood immunization, I see the trend, what happens over the years, no, the immunization coverage that was presented by the WHO. I see how improving it is from the time that the pandemic erupted until the present. So somehow it's still on the rocks that it must be it must still increase, no, the vaccination coverage, but at least it is improving. So global coverage for the first dose HPV, the human papillomavirus, in girls grew already from 27% in 2023 to 31% in 2024. So fortunately also our country, the Philippines, have already started the HPV vaccination last year, no, late last year toward the last quarter of the year, to males and females aged 9 and above, no, receiving the first dose and the second dose by 6 months later, no, sila yung this population are those enrolled in the government or public schools, but it is not just limited to them, no, also the private school children, they can also avail, basta they have to go to the health center. However, the campaign was initiated last year. Hopefully they will still improve on it or have more sessions later on. Okay, and the coverage of yellow fever vaccine, although not available in our country, except in the Bureau of Quarantine, in countries at risk of it is 50%, though well below the recommended 80%. Okay? What is Immunization Agenda 2030? So this is another program provided to be able to improve the vaccination coverage. This envisions a world where everyone, everywhere at every age, fully benefits from vaccines to improve health and well-being. It aims to maintain hard-won gains on immunization, recover from the disruptions caused by the COVID-19, and achieve even more by leaving no one behind in any situation at any stage of life. So this is still the global strategy that aims to push through, okay? So leaving no one behind, meaning not just in the pediatric population, but also in adult groups, okay? So today, the objectives, as I want to reiterate more as I have given you the childhood immunization asynchronous lecture for you to know the status of immunization in our country, what life course immunization is and its importance, review the principles of vaccination, classification, vaccines and its routes of administration, okay, identify the recommended vaccines to be given in pediatric visit, as well as the vaccine storage and handling. Okay? Hold on po I'll just pause in a bit. Oh, wait lang po. Kasi I think the one being shared. Sige. Okay. I think the different slide. But anyway, so let's move on. So what is the status of immunization in our country? So this is the latest situation of children in the Philippines, published in December 18, 2024, wherein child immunization coverage there has been a slight increase in the proportion of fully immunized children since 2013, but there has been a significant increase in zero-dose vaccination over the same period. Unfortunately, there are still children with no vaccination at all. In the BARM, in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, there are only 6 out of 10 children aged less than 2 years old, and half of children ages 24 to 35 months are fully vaccinated. Okay, so we really need to promote immunization. Okay, well, what is life course immunization and why is it important? So life course immunization is the concept that vaccination can provide protection and health benefits to people at different ages, and circumstances throughout their lives. You see here, from infants, children, adolescents, adults, travelers, pregnant women, and older adults. So by adapting the life course approach to immunization, vaccination programs can be tailored to close immunity gaps at different ages of life. So this foresees the establishment of multiple strategies to reduce missed opportunities for vaccination according to age group. So what are we considering? No? Extending the benefits of vaccination against infectious diseases from childhood throughout the entire lifespan is becoming an increasingly urgent priority in view of the world's aging population, emergence, and re-emergence of infectious diseases, and the necessity to invest more on prevention versus cure in global care. So you see how important it is that we have to immunize, no, not just the children, but also the maternal immunization. We also have to immunize to protect those who have chronic conditions because they are the weaker, no, on the weaker population. Those who travel, the healthcare workers, okay, and immunization in older adults, as well as immunization needs due to migration. Okay, so we really need to fill in the gaps from like for us in pediatric population, we immunize up until adolescents. Then we have to fill in the gaps between the adolescents to the adults. No, it's always known that the vaccination for pediatric population is already it's on its maturity, while in the adults it's still on the infancy, okay, or on the premature side. So we really have to enhance and promote vaccination, not just in children, but all throughout the stages of life. So why is it important? It is important because to promote health and well-being in the population, and alongside with it, with appropriate lifestyle and healthcare interventions, it provides an opportunity to live and age in good health. So as you watch in the video, this has also an economic, no, effect to the society. So if more population in that area or in that community is vaccinated, then the disease burden will also decrease. So it will improve the health system of that country, of that community, diba? So in the family. So it must have a very good relationship between health and income or society, the economic benefit to that of a society. Okay? Sorry, parang ano pala yon. Moving on, repeat ata yung slide. Anyway, so let's go back to your per deck. Which of the following, based on the lecture that was shown to you on the asynchronous lecture, best describes active immunization? A, preformed antibodies are administered to provide immediate protection. B, the body's immune system is stimulated to produce its own antibodies. C, protection is short-lived, lasting only a few weeks or months. Or D, it is primarily used in emergency situations. So please answer via the joinpd.com. Okay, you join again, joinpd.com, key in. For those na not yet joined, please join here. So let's see the responses. So 95, 100, so increasing, no? So the immune system is stimulated to produce its own antibody. So we'll see. Okay, increasing. Thank you. So one answered protection is short-lived, lasting only a few weeks or months. And also some answered preformed antibodies are administered to provide immediate protection. Can you see the responses or putol yung screen? Pag ganyan pala. Okay, can you see it? Or ako lang nakakita? So this is the result. Can you hear me?
Yes po,
Nobody
nakikita po.
Okay, nakikita na. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. So, majority answered letter B. So, as a review, there are the infectious diseases can be prevented through two basic mechanisms, the active and the passive immunization. In active, it is the stimulation of the immune system to produce antigen-specific humoral or the antibody and cell-mediated immunity by active immunizing agents known as vaccines. So it has immunologic memory produced is similar to that of acquired by having the disease. Okay, though there are different factors that influence the immune response to vaccination. So what are these? The presence of maternal antibodies, the nature and dose of antigen, the route of administration that is very important. That is why we have to know how to administer a specific vaccine. The presence of an adjuvant in the vaccine itself and the host factors. So really have to consider this. So the protection also produced by the person's own system, okay, in the active immunization, okay? So as I mentioned, stimulation of a person's own immune system through the administration of antigens, usually before the natural exposure to an infectious agents. As compared or as opposed to your passive immunization, this is the administration of preformed human or animal antibodies before or soon after exposure to certain infectious agents. Okay. So the answer for this is you're right. Letter B, the body's immune system is stimulated to produce its own antibodies. Okay. So tama naman po kayo. Majority of you answered it correctly. Okay, next. In passive immunization, it provides A, long-term immunity, B, short-term immunity, C, immunity through the body's own antibody protection, or D, immunity through the stimulation of T-cell response. So you're right again, short-term immunity, okay? The passive immunization, okay? Question, a vaccine can absolutely give someone the disease it's supposed to prevent. True or false? So let's see. So putol ulit, sorry. So true, mayroon pa ring a vaccine can absolutely, no? The question is, can absolutely give someone the disease it's supposed to prevent. So there are 30-ish, 30s, 31, 30, 31 students who said, true, the vaccine can absolutely give someone the disease it's supposed to prevent. Okay, so remember that it's impossible to get the disease from any vaccine made with dead or killed bacteria or virus, or just part of the bacteria or virus. Okay? However, kasi absolute yung term na absolute, di ba? Going back to the question, absolutely, can it absolutely? Of course, no. It cannot absolutely give someone the disease, it's supposed to prevent. Okay? However, no, those live attenuated vaccines can somehow give a very small percentage to those patients who are immunocompromised, or to give a child a possibly a very mild or develop a mild form of that disease, pero mild form and not the absolute disease that it is supposed to prevent. No, yung the one that we wanted to be protected, hindi siya dapat magkaroon ng sakit. As I mentioned earlier in the previous slides, that it could also be due to yung host response depending on the immunity of a person. So we will go back to the history, no? Are there any underlying cause or reasons for this patient not to receive a live vaccine at the moment, no? Or delay it so that it will prevent a reaction to that particular vaccine, or possibly develop a mild form of a disease because of that vaccine. Okay, is that clear? Clear po? And for your assurance, no, the CDC, they are making sure that vaccine safety is a priority, as well as with the FDA, they take many steps to make sure that vaccines are safe, both before and after the public begins using the vaccine. So I just would like to answer the question, can it cause disease in immunocompromised? As I mentioned earlier, no, for those immunocompromised, the reason why we need to know the history of a patient before we give a live vaccine, because we really need to weigh if this patient will benefit or will not be able to develop an immunity to that particular vaccine. Can it pose a small chance of developing? No, yun, we cannot say no, absolutely no, na it cannot. Kasi nga immunocompromised. That's why we need to weigh kailan ba natin siya pwedeng bigyan. When is the best time to administer that particular vaccine? Okay? So yung live vaccines, meaning those with live attenuated or dead vaccines, like for example the varicella, the MMR, no, yung measles, mumps, rubella, pero very mild form. Always remember this, the risk of disease from vaccination is extremely small depending on the host response to the vaccine. Okay? So for that question, it is not absolute for them to develop, but can it, no, very mild form, pwede. That's why merong mga iba, they develop some lesions from varicella, no, pero ano lang, very, or sometimes may measles like, no, illness for those patients who had measles vaccine, pero yung reported cases are extremely small. Okay, clear? Did I answer your question? For those who... Okay, thank you for acknowledging. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's move on. So as mentioned in the lecture, these are the characteristics of an ideal vaccine. The vaccines are safe, immunogenic, efficacious or effective, induce long-lasting immunity, and cost-effective. Okay, so this one, which of the following best describes a live attenuated vaccine? A, use only the antigen of the pathogen. B, use a weakened form of the pathogen that still stimulates an immune response. Or C, use only the toxins produced by the pathogen. Or D, are only used for bacterial infections. Okay, so majority got it correctly. Use a weakened form of the pathogen that stimulates an immune response. Okay. Thank you for those who participated. So let's move on to the classification of vaccines. Let's review. So you learned that live attenuated vaccine, these produce immunologic memory that is similar to that of acquired by having the natural disease. Okay, so I've mentioned in the video, there are two basic types of vaccine, the live attenuated and the inactivated vaccines. So this has yung live attenuated has the modified viruses or bacteria that are weakened but retain the ability to replicate and produce immunity without causing the illness. So that's the goal. However, they may have interference of antibody from any source or exposure to heat and light that can damage the antigen. That will prevent the replication of the vaccine organism and lead to poor immune response or vaccine failure. That's why part of this lecture or synchronous activity is for you to know how to store or handle a vaccine. Okay? Kasi it has an effect to the immunity, okay? Or to the immune response or vaccine failure. While the inactivated, these are composed of killed microorganisms or contain inactivated components such as toxoids, subunit or subvirion products or cell wall polysaccharides. So the inactivated, as opposed to the live attenuated, syempre it doesn't contain live bacteria or virus. It is less affected by circulating antibodies than of the live agents and may be given even in the presence of maternal antibodies or after receiving antibody-containing products. Okay. So question, which of the following best describes a live attenuated vaccine? A, use only the antigen of the pathogen. B, use a weakened form of the pathogen that stimulates an immune response. Or C, use only the toxins produced by the pathogen. Or D, are only used for bacterial infections. So what's your answer? Okay. Use a weakened form of the pathogen that stimulates an immune response. So the answer is letter B. Use only the toxins. Yung toxins produced by the pathogen, this is for the inactivated. Okay? Inactivated vaccine. Clear po? For those two who answered, yung live attenuated, use a weakened form of the pathogen that still stimulates an immune response. This one po is a characteristic of a inactivated vaccine. Okay? So, and also, it is not only used for bacterial infection, also for the viral infections. Okay? Next. So, let's move on to the classifications of the different vaccines so that you'll know what are the live attenuated. You may be able to differentiate what are the live attenuated and the inactivated vaccines. Okay. So please bear in mind that this is the clue that I always give to the students. Those measles-containing vaccine, so measles-containing meaning measles alone, measles, mumps, rubella, measles, mumps, rubella, varicella, automatic live attenuated vaccines. Yan. Okay? For the live attenuated vaccines, which are given parenterally, no, these must be administered subcutaneous route, no, together with the Japanese encephalitis. So tatandaan nyo lang, measles containing and varicella containing, varicella containing and Japanese encephalitis. So yung tatlo, Japanese encephalitis, measles containing, varicella containing. Pag parenteral route, these are administered subcutaneously. So we will inject it sub-Q route. Okay? Because the rotavirus and the polio are given orally. Di ba? Oral siya. Okay? So hindi naman siya ibibigay ng parenteral route. While the dengue, although wala siya ngayon, no, we don't have the dengue vaccine, so it's also a live attenuated, the ones that was provided before, and the yellow fever. As I mentioned, the yellow fever is available in the Bureau of Quarantine because there are travelers or seafarers that would be or who will be requiring the yellow fever vaccine. Okay? So for the BCG, this is the only bacterial live attenuated vaccine and it is administered intradermally. Okay? Clear? While the inactivated, all the rest, aside from those that I mentioned, yung wala here po, those are inactivated. So alin yon? For the viral, no, merong Hepa B, hepatitis A. So Hep B is yung birth dose vaccine that must be given. HPV, human papilloma virus vaccine. The influenza, what we have here is the inactivated influenza vaccine, the IPV, the inactivated polio vaccine, the rabies vaccine. So for the bacterial, there are the diphtheria, tetanus, whole cell pertussis, ito yung acellular pertussis, the Tdap, the tetanus toxoid, the Haemophilus influenza type B, meningococcal, pneumococcal either conjugate, pneumococcal conjugate vaccine or pneumococcal polysaccharide vaccine, the typhoid, the cholera. Similarly, the cholera is only available in the Bureau of Quarantine. Okay? And also we have combination vaccines. Okay? So these are the examples of which are the Pentahib, the ones given in the center. We also have in the private setting 5-in-1, 6-in-1. Okay? Sometimes may 4-in-1 pa na kasi 4 vaccines in 1 injection. Okay? That is the DTaP IPV. Alright. So ito yung, the ones given in the center is this one. Okay, the diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, Hep B. Okay, and don't be surprised that why different in the private setting, no, the 5-in-1 versus the 6-in-1. In 6-in-1, there is inclusion of the IPV already, the polio vaccine in the 6-in-1. Okay, so you have to remember again the live attenuated, this one, no, the live attenuated vaccines, and all the rest, these are the inactivated na. Okay, so giving combination and multiple vaccines are safe. True or false? So for example, administering more than one vaccine or administering the combination vaccines like the Pentahib in one clinic visit, is this safe or unsafe? Okay. So meron pa rin nagsasabing unsafe. Okay. You know, I'm really interested why you were able to say na it's unsafe. Okay? Can you give me a private message, no, on the chat box why you are saying na unsafe yung giving combination or more than one vaccine per visit? Increasing siya, oh. Kanina it was just 2, naging 5 na. I am really interested. Can you give me a message on the chat box? I'm really interested why you mention na it is oo, 6 na siya ngayon. Why is it unsafe? Oh, nawala. Okay, question is, combination and multiple vaccines given in a clinic visit are safe. So, may nagsasabing false na 5 students. Yung iba ayaw na mag-answer or na-disconnect na sa sa pair deck. Kaya lang walang brave soul na nagtatype sa chat box. Kahit private message or hindi sila maka-private message sa akin, no, Aldrin. Baka sa'yo lang sila. So you can message me sa Canvas kasi I wanna know your insights as well. Pati yung mga opposing thoughts, no, earlier na yung meron kasing sa a minority is answering. So I wanna know your thoughts, no? Please let me know. Yung live parenteral. Hindi, yung lang, in general lang, combination or multiple vaccines. Okay. Wala naman, ang sinabi ko pa lang naman ay combination and multiple vaccines. Okay? Sige, if that, kasi someone raised na it could be because of the live parenteral na vaccine, yung sabing baka yung on the same clinic visit. Okay, so true or false? I just repeated the question, combination and multiple vaccines are safe? The answer is safe, true. So receiving combination vaccines and or multiple vaccines at the same time is safe and offers protection against multiple diseases during one clinic visit. Combining the two live vaccines per clinic visit, it has no contraindication. So you may give MMR on the left arm and then Japanese encephalitis. This one is a Japanese encephalitis. This one is the MMR. You can combine in one clinic visit, meaning you can give these 2 vaccines in one clinic visit, basta simultaneously in one sitting. And then this is an example of pentahib, the Hep B, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, Hib vaccine, and combining it with a varicella vaccine or a live vaccine, kasi this one is inactivated vaccine, this one is a live attenuated vaccine. When you combine, meaning one arm, pentahib, another arm, varicella, then it is also safe. No, you can combine 2 inactivated vaccine in one clinic visit. So these are the rules on spacing administration of live and inactivated antigen. If, for example, you are going to administer simultaneously or at any interval between doses for more than or equal to 2 inactivated vaccines, there's no spacing, okay, needed or necessary to administer that particular vaccine. Okay? So, meaning you can administer them either simultaneously, meaning one clinic visit, or tomorrow and next week. You don't need to wait. Or even today and then next week, or today and then tomorrow. So you may give it kung parehong inactivated vaccine. Similarly with an inactivated and a live vaccine. So no interval or minimum interval needed. All right. The ones that was raised earlier baka daw yun yung reason for those who answered na 5, no? Yung more than or yung 2 live parenteral. If not given simultaneously. So you have to read between the lines. Kung ano ba yung question? Wala naman sinabing not administered simultaneously eh. If not administered simultaneously, then that is the time that you have to wait 4 weeks prior to administering the live parenteral vaccines. 2 live parenteral. For example, the patient will be receiving today the MMR vaccine. However, hindi available yung varicella. Tomorrow pa siya magiging available. So you cannot administer tomorrow the varicella. You have to wait 4 weeks prior to administering the varicella from the time that the patient received the MMR. Kasi pareho silang live attenuated vaccine. Right? But if both MMR and varicella are present or available already on that clinic time, then you administered on 2 different anatomic sites. Clear po? Can I hear? Nandun pa kayo?
Yes po, Dok.
Okay, thank you. So, if for example, no, clear yun, no? If available on that same day, then you give. Pwedeng morning, afternoon, pwede. Basta on that same day. Wag lang the following day or the following week. Then you have to wait 4 weeks before administering another live attenuated vaccine. However, in the live oral, dadalawa lang naman ang live oral natin sa Philippines. The oral polio vaccine, okay, and the rotavirus vaccine. Okay, so if for example, the oral polio is given only in the health center eh. The rotavirus can be given in the center if available, merong supply. Minsan sa ibang health center may supply, but it is not included in the National Immunization Program na free. Okay? O for example, sa center, morning, i-administer yung oral polio. Then, pwede at any time bigay yung rotavirus vaccine. So for example, morning, pwedeng today din, same day in the afternoon, or kahit same hour, parehong-pareho, pwedeng ibigay. No waiting time needed for you to administer the oral vaccines, live oral vaccines. Clear po? So only the parenteral, if not given simultaneously, that we need to wait for 4 weeks. Okay. So let's have an example. Ay, hindi pala na-flash dito. Okay. Sige, so the example of inactivated to inactivated. For example, you're giving Pentahib in the center, then simultaneously they will give the PCV, the pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. So pwedeng ibigay na sabay or pwedeng 1 week, 1 day apart. There's no problem. And then giving the inactivated, for example, the Pentahib, and then you will give the measles, pwede rin sabay or walang interval needed. Yun lang yung for parenteral, if not given at the same time or simultaneously, then you wait for 4 weeks. So again, can you enumerate what are the live parenteral vaccines? Can somebody unmute? Measles, varicella, Japanese encephalitis. Okay, ang saya ha, merong MVJ na nagawa. Okay, very good. Thank you. Sige, yan lang. Gusto ko lang maalala nyo, tsaka yung mga yan na parenteral ang ibinibigay subcutaneously. Alam nyo na intradermal ay BCG. Masayang-masaya na ako na maalala nyo yan hanggang clerkship. Okay? At hanggang sa matapos kaya. Alright, thank you for those who participated. Okay? So, combination vaccines generally preferred actually over simultaneous administration of single component vaccines. Kasi it reduces the number of injections, di ba? Before, no, for those or some of us receive yung before walang pentahib, no? Ano bang year niyo pinanganak? May I know ano yung year na napanganak kayo?
2002.
2001. Okay, some of or baka all of you have received pa siguro, ay di all, sorry. Some of you have received pa yung single administration of before meron pang, naku, hindi ko po maalis. Ayan. Before merong Hep B, tapos diphtheria, tetanus pertussis, DPT, tapos Hib, 3 injection na hiwa-hiwalay ina-administer sa center. So dati ganun po yung pag-administer. No? You see how difficult it is for a patient. Tapos nung dumating pa yung pneumococcal, hiwalay pa ulit siya. Okay? So, kasi others would opt na sa private eh. Yun, may mga combination vaccines. Pero good enough that we have already available combination vaccines in the health center. Kasi they don't need to be administered yung hiwalay na Hep B, hiwalay na DPT, hiwalay pa na Hib na vaccine. Okay? So now moving on to the childhood immunization schedule. This is very important, no? This is the latest childhood immunization schedule. As I have shown in the video, the evolution of the immunization here in the Philippines, no, yung years that were included every time that every year, no, this has been modified by the Philippine Pediatric Society in collaboration with the Pediatric Infectious Disease Society of the Philippines and the Philippine Foundation for Vaccination. They collaborate to come up with a childhood immunization schedule. So this is the latest and updated version for the year 2025. So what is included here, no, is the rabies in the routine vaccination. Rabies has been there already in the annotations of the childhood immunization long way before pa. However, throughout the years, there has been a note or dramatic increase in the disease, burden of disease of rabies in our country. That's why it has now included in the 2025 childhood immunization schedule as a routine vaccination. Routine meaning from age 2 years and above, no, we have to vaccinate pre-exposure prophylaxis for rabies. For those who have already received post-exposure prophylaxis, then you don't need to be receiving the pre-exposure prophylaxis or the PrEP. Okay, the PrEP or the pre-exposure prophylaxis must be given on day 0 and then 1 week later, day 7. Okay, if these patients have already received the rabies PrEP, by the time that they will be exposed or will be receiving or will be needing the post-exposure prophylaxis for rabies, so for those patients under category 3, no, those with blood in the scratch area or in the bitten part of the body, mayroon na talagang blood right away, no, yung under category 3 who will be needing rabies immunoglobulin may not receive rabies immunoglobulin anymore. Only the rabies vaccines, which are lesser in number. Why do we still need to give post-exposure even with pre-exposure? Because the rabies has no treatment. So what we can only provide is vaccination. Okay? That's why if you can still recall or you are updated with the news roaming around, no, previously that there's a patient who have received one dose of vaccination only for rabies but was not given subsequently for rabies shot, no, acquired the rabies virus and eventually died. Kasi fatal ang rabies eh. Okay. There's a question. Rabies prep as routine for children, is it given in the health centers or animal bite centers only? So for the rabies prep, wala pa at the moment sa health centers. Not unless na they give in that particular center. Not all centers are giving rabies vaccine po kasi. So not unless na available doon, so we can inquire. But in the private, we are starting to give the rabies vaccines already, the prep. For the animal bite, yes, they can give yung prep already. Okay? Did I answer your question? You're welcome po. So pwede doon sa in the private setting din. Okay? So what is also included in this new childhood immunization is the recommendation. No? This is the NIP, the ones in green, yung National Immunization Program. Pero may nakikita rin kayo yung dotted, no? Yung pink with dotted green. So ito yun yung recommended by National Immunization Program together with the societies, no? The ones who provided this, or the PIDSP, PPS, and the PFV. Okay, the ones with yung mga dotted. Then, yung catch-up immunization still, okay, up until when we can give it. Then the recommended vaccination for those travelers or special group or situation, especially so for the meningococcal, this must be really advised to those who will be going to a very crowded destination or country, or will be attending a celebration, like for example those our brothers and sisters will be traveling to Mecca to celebrate, no, their religious activities, kasi very crowded, no, so dapat. And also for cholera, ito yung, as I mentioned, for those who will be traveling to countries endemic for cholera. For typhoid, ganun din naman, no? So, however, we have to take note that we can only give it by the age of 2 and above. No, kasi yun yung very important eh. Kailan ba dapat i-administer ang particular vaccine? So, this is our guide. No, this is our guide, the childhood immunization schedule. If you have this, and you will not be at fault in giving vaccination. Okay? So, I think I already shared with you the PDF file of this one as well. Okay, so I would like to emphasize that when a baby is born or delivered in the hospital, the patient must be receiving the BCG, the first dose of BCG, and the birth dose of, not the first dose, the BCG vaccine and the first dose or birth dose of hepatitis B vaccine. Okay, so the Hep B vaccine will decrease, okay, the development of hepatocellular carcinoma if given, no, within the first 24 hours, less than about 90% chance of developing that disease. Especially so if the mom is Hep B reactive. Aside from giving hepatitis B within the first 12 hours actually for the Hep B vaccine if the mom is Hep B reactive. Okay, kung HBs EG positive or reactive ang mom, we have to give the Hep B vaccine within the first 12 hours of life. Okay, and we have to administer the hepatitis B immunoglobulin as well. Okay, so meron tayong isang active immunization and may passive immunization. Kasi yung Hep B immunoglobulin is a passive immunization. Clear? Naalala nyo yung active and passive? Yes po? Wala nang sumagot. Yes po.
Yes po, Doc.
Thank you.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay po. So, after which, ma'am, bakit po ganon? Dalawa po yung Hep B. Tapos meron din dito, di ba po sabi nyo, can you see my, anong tawag nito? Yung cursor?
Yes
Can you
po.
see po,
Yes
Doc?
po,
Ayan.
teacher, Doc.
Okay, thank you. So as you can see here, this is the pink, this pink one is the Pentahib, no? Ito 'yon. Kaya siya nakadotted din kasi nga ito yung binibigay sa NIP, National Immunization Program. So nakikita nyo dito, ma'am, dito po yung Hep B meron po ng 1 month. Bakit meron po ulit dito na, aren't you surprised na meron din ulit dito at 6 weeks? Alin po yung susundin namin? Okay. So hypothetically, tinatanong ko yun sa sarili ko, kunwari galing sa inyo. Alright. So yung if solo, single dose or single vaccine lang, Hep B alone, then you can administer it minimum of 4-week interval. That is why, granted that the patient has received the Hep B birth dose at birth, redundant na, no? So, if the patient has already received birth dose of Hep B, then 4 weeks later, kaya 1 month apart, at 1 month, pwede na siyang makareceive ng solo Hep B. Kaya lang, if the patient will be receiving at the center or in the private who administers the combination vaccine, then we wait for 6 weeks. Kaya po 6 weeks po yung andito. Klaro po yon. We cannot give the 6-in-1 or the Pentahib or the 5-in-1 earlier than 6 weeks. Clear po? Clear? Clear. Sana clear? Ano pa po yung pwedeng isabay ng 6 weeks kasi nasa center na? Pwede na po isabay yung oral polio, OPV, patak, na live attenuated, PCV na inactivated vaccine if available sa center. And if not available, pwede rin sa pumunta sila sa sa ibang clinic as well as the rotavirus. So these are the vaccines which we can give at 6 weeks. No? In special population or pwede rin those who can afford to be receiving the meningococcal, pwede na rin as early as 6 weeks. There are meningococcal vaccine na available or can be administered as early as 6 weeks. Clear? So ayan, no, makikita natin, pwede na siya. So ilan? OPV, Pentahib, PCV, rotavirus, at meningococcal. Pero yung under NIP, ito po yung tatlong yon. OPV, Pentahib, and PCV under the National Immunization Program. Tatlo po yung available dapat sa center. Kaya lang, there are some centers na not all the time available din yung PCV nagkakaubusan. Especially during typhoon, meron talagang chances na like that. Clear? And then we wait for the next dose. Kasi when we give the these 3 vaccines, no? Yung kasi they need multiple doses to be able to mount an immune response, right? So we wait for 4 weeks interval before we administer the subsequent doses. Clear? So we wait for 10th week, kaya ito po ulit, panibagong kulay siya. And another 4 weeks, kaya 14. So tatandaan nyo, 6, 10, and 14. Okay, 6, 10, 14 weeks for the OPV, and then Pentahib, and then PCV. Come 3rd week of the OPV, meron dito ulit to green. Ito na po yung IPV. This is the inactivated polio vaccine. In 2023, it was added to have a second dose of IPV. Kaya po dalawa sila. Before, solo lang, kasabay ng 3rd dose ng oral polio together with the IPV, inactivated polio. Okay? So, ito pong second dose ng polio, IPV, sinasabay po yan kasabay ng measles simultaneously with the measles vaccine. What they are receiving right now at the center, yung available is the MMR. but we only count the measles dose at 9 months. No? So yung MMR talaga, it's not yet counted. We will start counting the MMR by 1 year old. Okay? So don't be confused. Basta measles, ito po yun. Measles, yung pink. And then kaya makikita nyo dito, kasi sa NIP, ang first dose ng MMR, yun na po yung 9 months. Okay? So in your exam, I will identify kung based on NIP, no, para hindi kayo malilito. We will rely on based on NIP. Okay? So para hindi kayo, you will not be at loss pag nag-iisip kayo during examination. Okay? So sa National Immunization Program, na lang muna tayo. Okay? When I ask there, I will specify naman. Pero it's nice for you to know that we count the first measles, no? Ito, measles, first dose at 1 year, then it will be subsequently given as early as 18 months for the second dose. No? So 18 months meaning 1 year, 6 months, pwede na yung second dose niya. Okay? Tapos catch up na to yung mga orange. Clear? Sometimes, no, kapag yung mga school-age children, meron pang grade 1 na measles rubella, kaya minsan in public schools, nagbibigay pa rin ng bakuna at grade 1, tapos at grade 7. So under NIP pa rin siya. Okay? Clear po? Okay po? Sige. So the flu is only administered at 6 months, earliest 6 months of age. Okay, then we give it yearly, but for less than 9 years old, we give it twice for the first time that they will be receiving, after which, for example, this year, first time makaka-receive ng less than 9 and below 9 years old, then dapat twice this year, 4 weeks apart. Tatandaan yung interval ng same vaccine 4 weeks apart. Okay? And then, after which, yearly na lang thereafter. So kung tayo as adults, first time natin makaka-receive, first time na once a year na lang. Okay, may question based on INIP? First dose of MMR at 9 months? Yes. Ito yung susundin nyo muna. Ito, yung kulay green. Okay? Para hindi kayo malilito. First dose, kasi at the moment, what they are giving or available vaccines at the center ay MMR. Before kasi merong measles alone, meron pang time na MR, measles rubella, aside sa MMR talaga at 1 year. Pero this year, I think what they procured already, MMR na lahat. Kaya first dose ng MMR at 9 months, second dose at 1 year. Okay? But it doesn't stop there. That's why you are here to listen, to know that beyond the vaccines given at the center, they must receive pa rin yung MMR pa isa pa. Ito po yun, yung sa routine immunization. Okay? Clear? Clear po? Did I answer your question? In cases of outbreak, yes. In cases of outbreak, only measles. No? Aside from measles pala, measles can be given as early as 6 months in cases of outbreak. And oral polio can be given at birth in cases of outbreak. We had sa ano tawag nito, SIA, simultaneous immunization activity before, when September 19, 2019, there was a prior to the COVID pandemic, there was a polio outbreak. Kasi nga, di ba, polio-free na yung Philippines? If you can recall in the video, polio-free na yung Philippines. And up until September 19, 2019, there was an outbreak of polio. So even those newborn babies, naka-receive sila ng oral polio, basta with the consent of the parents. No, aside from those scheduled vaccination for oral polio. So, pwede in cases of outbreak. Okay? So, measles as early as 6 months. Pero I will specify naman yan eh. Don't worry. Okay? And then, gusto ko lang ma-emphasize also that Japanese encephalitis is only given at 9 months. As early as 9 months, then the next dose will be a year apart. No, pag 18 and pag less than 18 years old. Pero kung adult na, 1 dose na lang siya. Okay? More than 18. For the varicella, together with the Hep A, ang first dose is at 1 year old. Okay? So, then the second dose, as you can see here, after 6 months, no, pwede na ibigay yung second dose. Pero kung adult or catch-up immunization, pwede naman siyang ibigay a 1 month apart. Okay? For adolescents. For Hepa A, the first dose is at 1 year as well. Then the second dose is 6 months apart. Yung para sa hepatitis A. So, kamukha, ito, Hepa A. Okay? And then the HPV, as early as 9 years of age, pwede na siyang i-administer both to males and females. So, what we have now, we give it day 0 and then 6 months after, no? If less than 15 years old. If 15 and above, we give it 3 doses already. Okay, you can view that in the annotations. 0, 2, 6, or 0, 1, 6, yan. Depending on the brand. Okay, and then the rabies, as I mentioned, it is given at 2 years old together with the typhoid. Makikita nyo, 2 years din yung typhoid. Okay? And then the cholera, kung magta-travel as early as 1 year sa Bureau of Quarantine. Do you have questions with regard to the child immunization? There's a question, kaya ba parang maaga or by 9 months binibigay yung measles dahil uso pa rin dito sa Pilipinas before ibigay yung MMR? Actually, the MMR will only be counted as at 1 year old kasi. Okay? So, kaya dito, dun sa pink box, no, kung makikita nyo, yun yung nakakount na MMR dose talaga at 1 year. Ito kasi pinapakita sa atin what's available in the health center. We all know that the center can only provide up until 1 year old. Yung mga booster shots can no longer be subsidized by our government. So they can only give until 1 year of age. So this is the simplified format, no? This is the childhood immunization record in our health center, no, in the Philippines. You're welcome po. So as you can see here, at birth, and then ito yung 6, 10, 14. So 6, 10, 14. Ito, together, ito granting that the granting that the OPV is given also here. Ma'am, paano kung walang OPV pero ang available IPV, hindi ba siya ibibigay? Ibibigay na rin. The reason why they tandem yung mga tandem more than 1 vaccine per visit is to increase the compliance of a patient. No? Yung pagbabalik ng parents sa clinic or sa health center, it increases the compliance. And we have vaccines as well na multi-dose at the center. So we can give it to many patients in 1 clinic day. Yun din yung mga ibang mga reasons. Okay? Kung bakit sabay-sabay na sila sa center. Okay. So if no more questions, let's move on to the interval between doses of the same vaccine. So increasing the interval between doses of a multi-dose vaccine does not diminish the effectiveness of the vaccine. However, decreasing the interval between doses may interfere with an antibody response and protection. That's why it is very important for you to know the minimum interval and ages. Okay? Remember that vaccine doses should not be administered at intervals less than the minimum or earlier than the minimum age. Okay. So I would like to share with you, this is nice to know, that the grace period Kasi there are times that we'll be encountering a patient who will be migrating already. Instead of missing that vaccine, then we can give it. However, it must be within the grace period. As I specifically reiterated to you, when is the first dose? When must be given, when do you need to give the subsequent doses, di ba? We have to wait for 4-week interval. However, vaccine doses may be administered less than or equal or earlier than 4 days, no? 4 days before the minimum interval or age is considered valid. Since in studies, it is unlikely to have substantially negative effect on the immune response to that dose. But it doesn't apply to rabies vaccine. So yung grace period, wala sa rabies yon, no? Okay? So hindi pwedeng earlier for the rabies. So any vaccine given equal or greater than 5 days earlier than the minimum, no, sobrang aga, hindi siya count na valid vaccine. So, if for example, ma'am, nagkamali na, nabigay na, supposedly, makaka-receive pa siya ng August 4, nabigay na po ng August 3, 5th day po yun. So, we will count from August 3, wait until 4 weeks again before you give yung right dose or yung appropriate dose. Okay? Yun yung counted na valid dose. Example, if a patient received the pentavalent first dose, yung 5-in-1, Pentahib, supposedly the patient will be receiving the next dose on July 31. January tuloy. So 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4th week. Dapat yung schedule niya July 31. However, the patient will be leaving, for example, emergency, kailangan umalis out of the country and won't be able to come back agad. Okay, instead of not receiving the earlier dose, you can advise them to come back within this age time from July 27 to 30. Kasi kunwari aalis on the 31st. So pwedeng, ito lang time na to. If earlier, here na, hindi na siya counted na valid dose. Okay? So this is the grace period. Clear po? Clear? Can I hear from you?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay. When minimum intervals can be used. So, if catch-up or lapse vaccine schedule, impending international travel, but again, not to be routinely used. Okay, clear? Question again. A 4-year-old girl had her vaccinations in the center during her first year of life. From that time on, she has not received a single vaccine. Will she still need vaccination? Kailangan pa ba? Kailangan pa ba niya? Yan, konti na. Umunti na yung sumasagot. Nakatulog na ba yung iba? Maaga pa po, ha? Makagutom na. Okay. Kanina 100 plus pa eh. Ngayon 80s na lang. Inantok na ata. Na-disconnect yung iba. Okay. At least may 100. Naku, mayroon pa rin talagang false. Sige. Ay, nabawasan. Alright. Okay. 1 na lang. Sige. So, yes. Kailangan pa rin. No? Although not all permutations of all schedules for all vaccines have been studied, however, available studies of extended intervals have shown no significant difference in final titer. So we can still give. It is not necessary to restart the series or add doses but because of an extended interval vaccine doses, but we still have to give yung age appropriate, no, based on the childhood immunization schedule. Aside from age appropriate, based on the history, ngayon na 6 years old na siya, did the patient have varicella before during that time? If yes, then you don't need to give varicella. Even if you know at 1 year, pwede na siyang makareceive. Okay? So, we just have to know the history accurately so we can give appropriate vaccines. We just have to review their history. Okay? So, review routes of vaccine administration, the different methods, di ba? Intramuscular, subcutaneously, intradermal, oral. So, intranasal, yes, kasi may mga flu na intranasal abroad. Pero wala tayo sa Philippines. I've shown this pictures already in the video. So, this is a bleb formation in the BCG vaccination. This is the only live attenuated vaccine na given intradermal. Ito lang din naman yung live attenuated na binibigay intradermal. Pero wag kayong ma-surprise, those who have received already yung rabies shot post-exposure, merong mga binibigay na intradermal kasi they have studies also depending on the vaccine that they give, no? So, dun sa mga animal bite centers. Then, you see this one, no? 15 degrees or even less. This one, a 45 degree subcutaneous, no? Pwede rin dun sa triceps area kasi nandun yung subcutaneous fat. Ito pala. Gusto ko lang sagutin to, baka I might miss. Clarification po for the catch-up vaccines, just like what you presented earlier, if they are already contracted an infection which confer lifelong immunity, so that means they don't have to receive the vaccine. Yes. If a patient already received varicella, kasi nga meron, kunwari, may mga bookmarks already, may mga skin marks na siya and confirm na varicella, you don't need to give varicella vaccine anymore. Ma'am, paano kung measles? If confirmed na measles, pero ang ibinibigay naman natin for catch-up, MMR na, right? So we still give MMR. Okay? So varicella, yung absolute that we don't give anymore if nagkaroon na ng varicella. Clear po? You're welcome po. Okay, so sa subcutaneous, pwedeng here then, basta we have to isolate, we have to lift the subcutaneous fat, pwede rin on the triceps area. Okay? Here in the intramuscular, ito yung mga areas that we can give, no, sa anterolateral portion of the thigh. So, dito sa deltoid area, you see yung kung paano hawakan, kasi gagalaw yung arm ng baby, yung feet, pero syempre, we can ask also help of the other members in the clinic. So, here also, yung elbow and then the hand. Tapos the other arm of the patient is underneath the arm of the caretaker. Ito yung patalikod. What we experience lang, if the patient is sitting on a chair, pwedeng yung leg bounce sila dun sa chair, parang they wanted to get up. So we just have to also control that. So ito, no, you see yung multiple sites giving multiple injections at the same visit. So pwedeng here yung injection 1, 2.5 cm apart or 1 inch apart, no? Yung injection 2, tapos yun, injection 3. Kaya sa center, di ba? Tapos oral. Kunwari ito, Pentahib, PCV, IPV. Okay, so vaccine storage. Why is it important? As I mentioned, vaccine, kasi yung routes, no, very essential yan for effective immunization strategies kasi we have to take note how to give the vaccine properly. Kasi kung hindi, yung immunogenicity will also decrease. Okay? If hindi natin ma-administer properly. So, and also, it improves yung compliance nila. Kasi kung alam nila na, oral lang pala yung isa, so pwede naman, hindi naman matatadtad ng injection yung anak ko. Okay? So, isa rin yun. So, they have to know it as well. Okay. So, for the vaccine storage, why is it important? Proper handling and storage are very important in preventing and eradicating vaccine-preventable diseases. Remember, we need to protect the vaccine supply, no, when we deliver it to the facility. So from the vaccine manufacturing to the distribution to the arrival at a provider facility, yung storage in that facility and also in the vaccine administration. No, this is how we store it in a yung vaccine dapat wala siyang kasamang mga pagkain, no? So we place yung mga water bottles on the rack of the door. No, we don't put vaccines on the door rack kasi this temperature in this area varies every time we open the door. So we open and close the door. Okay? So these are dito yung mga iniinom na water bottle. Okay? So in between, nandito yung vaccines. Okay? So very important that we have to maintain 2 to 8 degrees, depending on a particular vaccine. Pero in general, 2 to 8 degrees. So the patient care after vaccination naman. So what we need to tell them, so after we vaccinate. So in the first 24 hours, we can advise cold compress over the injection site or sites if more than one injection site. So they can apply it about 10 to 15 minutes, 3 times a day or more frequently if the child tolerates or if the patient tolerates for the first 24 hours. After 24 hours, we can advise warm compress already, on the injection site. Even prior to applying the compress, ako personally, I advise them to apply light massage para mag-spread out yung vaccine din. Tsaka para ma-ease din yung, minsan ayaw magpahawak ng ibang patient. Kaya better if cold na din so that it will a little feel numb later on, manhid na siya. Can we give paracetamol? Yes, as needed for the fever. May iba yung irritable na sila. Personally, I do give kahit 1 dose lang to lessen their irritability kasi nga cranky sila after, especially the infants, after vaccination. And we advise to watch out for any adverse reaction following immunization. So we can report it or document it, I would like to share this statement, released by our society together with the PIDSP, yung Pediatric Infectious Disease Society of the Philippines, during resumption of immunization after the pandemic, or during the pandemic pa, which I know still applicable up to now. That's why I wanted to share with you. Kasi hindi lang naman nung time na yon, even until now, even lifted na yung wala nang pandemic, no more pandemic, but still COVID is there, and not only COVID but other respiratory infections pa rin, So we adhere to strict infection control practices with emphasis on hand hygiene and droplet precautions by wearing a mask. We have to know the basic immunization principles, what to administer simultaneously, and if not simultaneously, the intervals, So the vaccine storage, I shared with you, from the facility down the line to the administration area. Okay? To maintain the cold chain, temperature of 2 to 8 degrees at all times. And we monitor, prompt manage, and report of adverse events following immunization to proper authorities. So this is actually a summary of the entirety of this lecture, So we adhere to this, then we'll never go wrong. Okay? So remember that the side effects of vaccination are could be expected, the local reaction, the pain, erythema on the injection sites, the fever. For the severe adverse reactions, that's why we encourage for them to be reported the allergic reaction, type 1 hypersensitivity reaction to vaccine, syncope, after following immunization, so that it will be included in their we can able to report it to the FDA and to the manufacturer. Okay? So yearly, just want you to know that the World Immunization Week is celebrated every year. This was the latest celebration this April, few months ago, and it was translated to Filipino na magpabakuna, bakuna sa lahat, kayang-kaya. Or World Immunization Week 2025, immunization for all humanly is humanly possible, no? This aims to promote life-saving power of immunization to protect people of all ages against vaccine-preventable diseases. Okay? So, as you can see, yun na talaga yung theme, no? Envisioning that AI Agenda 2030, yung immunization for all, no? No one will be left behind. Okay? So, again, immunization has saved 6 lives every minute since 1974. Up to date, no, more than 30 life-threatening diseases are protected by vaccines. And in 2023, 22 million children missed their first measles vaccine. So very alarming siya. That's why we really need to help, no, in teaching, educating about vaccines. Okay? So with that, thank you very much. Would like to share this with you. I was invited by the UERM to give a lay fora. Somehow parang lay fora siya on iwas sakit, iwas gastos during the World Immunization Week at Teleradio, no, yung sa ABS-CBN. Kasi doctors of UERM are invited to give a lecture or somehow a interview, no, during celebration of different illnesses. So I'm very fortunate to impart, no, to the viewers about the immunization. So thank you. Again, if we stop vaccinating, the unknown diseases would stage a comeback, which we don't want to happen. No, many children will get sick and more will die. So thank you everyone for your participation, and I'll stop share. Do you have any other questions, clarifications? Yeah, how do you convince anti-vaxxers or believing in false articles who are anti-vaxxers, no? Or health workers who are merong mga health workers sa anti-vaxxers as well, 'di ba? So actually, we want to know kasi I also trained, no? I also trained with our society how to deal with this anti-vaxxers. We have to know where they are coming from. So we want to identify first, ano ba yung at the back of their minds, ano ba yung alam nila or yung reason why they don't want the vaccine or why they advocate for the other side of the coin, no? So we want to identify first. We don't combat directly na mali yan. No, we want to know kasi we somehow with that we can correct their misconception or can give an well explained, no, on their insights about it. Okay, thank you for that wonderful question. Any other questions po? So very clear? No more questions? So if you are shy to share it here on the chat box or pwede naman makaka-direct pala. So pwede rin sa Canvas. I will be gladly to answer your questions or increase any on vaccination. Okay? So don't worry, during our preceptorial sessions, we'll have a separate session with your preceptor to conduct the workshop on immunization. So huwag kayong mag-alala, magkakaroon tayo ng hands-on. No, that's why I did not already show a video yung actual vaccination. Doon na lang during the session na lang. Kasi sabi ko baka maubos yung time kapag insert ko pa yung clip ng actual vaccination. No, so dito na lang sa In practice, how do you comfort children who are scared? Marami. marami kaming delaying tactics sa clinic. I give stickers, I give lollipop. So, magagalit yung dentist na sa akin. Kaya lagi yung advice, ako lang magbibigay ng lollipop. Walang magulang na magbibigay ng lollipop. Yun yung pang-bribe ko sa vaccine. And I also talk to them. Siyempre yung mga babies, they don't know yet. Makikita lang nila ako kahit anong kausap ko sa kanila, they will not understand me. So, pinapaakap na lang natin sa magulang and ask them to comfort after vaccination by feeding, ganyan. So for other kids, no, syempre kailangan talagang kausapin sila. And may iba nasa pababa pa lang from Aurora Boulevard, pababa pa lang ng ramp ng UE, umiiyak na kasi alam nila papunta sila sa clinic to be vaccinated. So kailangan mayroong, may mga iba naman very excited kasi they will be receiving lollipop. So yun na yung parang reward nila, no? So yun yung kanilang iniisip na kasi nga sinasabi ko sa parents, huwag magbibigay, ako lang. So kahit sabihin nila na, ang dami nga naming lollipop doc sa bahay pero hindi namin binibigay, sa'yo yung gusto nila kasi alam nila ibibigay mo after vaccine. Ayan. No more questions? Thank you. Wala na po? Ayan. 3, 2, 1. If there are none, thank you. So, we'll see each other around, no? So, yung